Good morning, students. Let us begin our today's class on the chapter Is Matter Around Us Pure? I hope till now all of you have understood all the topics properly. So, in the previous class, we have discussed about evaporation technique for separating the components of a mixture. So let us discuss some more special techniques like centrifugation and churning process. So today we are going to discuss these two processes including sublimation as well and their applications. So let us proceed, students. We use many milk products like cream, butter, cheese, etc. So have you ever wondered how these milk products are made? We have seen at home or in pictures a pot full of milk being agitated with a plunger like device. You can see over here in the diagram it's given. Usually a cylindrical stick to separate cream from milk. So this process is carried out to separate cream from milk, which later may be used for making butter or solid cream. So this process of agitation of milk is termed as churning. So now we can define churning as the process of agitation of cream to form butter. Earlier, only manual techniques were available for this process, like traditional churner. You can see over here in the second diagram, traditional churner, where a pot full of milk was fitted with a plunger which was then rotated to create agitation. But this process is not very efficient as it is taking a lot of time and labor. So later on, for larger quantities, the process of centrifugation is carried out. So for churning, you can see over here, the lady is doing churning. She is separating cream from milk. So let us proceed towards centrifugation. So as we are knowing that it is the process that uses centrifugal force for the separation of two liquids in a mixture. In this process, denser component of the mixture migrates away from the axis, that is, they are forced to the bottom, and the lighter components migrate towards the axis, that is, they stay at the top when spun rapidly. So this process is carried out in a centrifuging machine, or you can say centrifuge. You can see over here the centrifuging machine. The rotating rotor is being rotated very fastly. So we can say that this is the principle of centrifugation on which this machine works. So what is the principle? The denser component of the mixture migrates away from the axis and the lighter component migrates towards the axis when spun rapidly. So we can say that there are wide applications of this process, and few of them are as follows. Like, first, they are used in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine test, as you can also see in the picture given over here. Another application is that it is used in dairies and homes as well to separate butter from cream, and also used in washing machines. You can see over here in the diagram. It is used in washing machine. This principle has been used to squeeze out water from the wet clothes. So this is all about centrifugation process. So I hope you have understood this process well. So let us move further towards our next separation technique, that is separation of components of a mixture using separating funnel. Or we can say this, it's the process of separation of two immiscible liquids. So firstly, you must be well acquainted with what are immiscible liquids. So immiscible liquids are those which won't mix to give a single phase, or we can simply say that which don't mix with each other. Now secondly, a separating funnel. So what is a separating funnel? You can see over here in the diagram, it's the separating funnel. It is being used in chemistry laboratory, also known as separation funnel or a separatory funnel. Is a piece of laboratory glassware. It is generally consists of a conical or pear-shaped glass body with a stopcock and a stopper on the top. The conic shape allows for the clean separation of the two layers because of a small interface on the low end. So now this separating funnel is being used to separate a mixture of two immiscible liquids. So this separating funnel works on the principle that the immiscible liquids separate out in layers depending upon their densities. As you can see over here, the separation of the two immiscible liquids, both liquids don't mix with each other as they are immiscible. So after leaving the funnel undisturbed for some time, we will see that there are two separate layers of both the liquids. So both the liquids get separated depending upon their different densities. So we can say that this is the principle of separating funnel. Below also there is a separation of oil and water. So there are applications of separating funnel as well. So it is used in separation of mixture of oil and water. This process is also used in the extraction of iron from its ore. The lighter slag. Slag is, you can say it's the byproduct left over after desired metal has been separated from its raw ore. Okay, so it is used in the extraction of iron from its ore. The lighter slag is removed from the top by this method to leave the molten iron at the bottom in the furnace. So these are some of the examples of this very process. So let us discuss another one. So the next process is sublimation, means separating a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. How we are able to separate both of them? So we know that ammonium chloride changes directly from solid to gaseous state on heating. Why so? Because we are knowing that ammonium chloride is a sublimable substance. So in order to separate such mixtures that contain a sublimable volatile component from a non-sublimable impurity, salt here, in this case salt is the impurity. So the sublimation process is being used. So now we can define sublimation as the process of direct conversion from solid state to gaseous state without going to its intermediate state, that is liquid state. So some examples of the solids which sublime are ammonium chloride, camphor, naphthalene balls, anthracene, all these things. Sublimation process we had already discussed in our previous chapter. But this process is being used to separate the components of a mixture. So what type of mixture? That mixture which is containing a sublimable volatile component from a non-sublimable impurity. So here the sublimable component is ammonium chloride and the non-sublimable component is the salt. So that's why we are able to separate ammonium chloride and salt by the process of sublimation. So I hope these three processes are clear to all of you. So today we have discussed about churning and centrifugation methods, including its applications, where these processes have been used. We have also discussed about separation of two immiscible liquids using separating funnel, and also we have discussed its application where that process is being used. And we had also discussed about sublimation process as the separating the components of the mixture like ammonium chloride and salt. So I hope these three methods are clear to all of you. So thank you, students.